Hi, welcome to the Modern Renaissance Man Show. I'm Ben Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. And no, I'm not suffering from the radiation cloud coming over Japan. I'm just sort of naturally letting my hair slide back. So if you see a glow, that's the natural glow. That's not the Japanese glow. Nice. Speaking of glows, how about our glowing CMS superintendent, you know, the can't manage stuff, Peter Hollywood Gorman. Lately, I was just reading, we're shooting this in March. You're probably seeing this sometime later part of April, 1st of May, thereabouts. He's supposedly on the short list to go with Chicago with him, Rahm Emanuel, the guy who booked out of the White House because nobody really liked him. Anyway, that he's on Rahm Emanuel's short list to come up there and manage the Chicago schools. Peter Gorman, of course, says that he's not going to do it, and we'll see how that goes, but I think it'll be interesting. Here you have Hollywood, and you'd have Deadwood. Which is which? I love politics. Interesting things. I take my daughter to school every morning, and I've decided I want to start a new support group to stop some of the abuse I see on the road. Here you have this organization called MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, MADD. Well, I want to start DAMM, D-A-M-M, Drivers Against Manic Mothers. Let me tell you what, when I drop my daughter off, these women come out of the school, and they're in the school zone, and they don't care. They are going somewhere fast. And I tell you what, I just sort of get up to my 25 miles an hour, and I just point out the window at them as they go by. I don't think they even know. So they don't realize that I'm not flipping them off. I'm just pointing because they're screaming by so fast. Damn, Drivers Against Manic Mothers, and fathers, too. Some of them just come straight out of dropping their children off, and they just drive like bats out of Hades. People, you need to stop. I want to see some police over there. This is over near Myers Park. We need to get some tickets. Of course, you know, the one day I'll exceed slightly, I'll get the ticket. That's just the way Murphy's Law. Great movie out. We're talking about interesting things. King's Speech. Got a lot of awards at the Oscars this year, the Academy Awards. I don't understand why this movie really got an R rating, PG-13. Speaking of high school, if you come out of high school or sitting around high school and listen to the language coming out of those schools, King's Speech movie probably could almost be rated PG compared to what you can hear out of that. They give this movie an R rating because of the language. This movie was excellent. I was coerced into going to it. I thought, yeah, it's probably good, pretty good movie. It was a great movie, King's Speech. One of these days, maybe the library have it, and if they're open in the hours, you'll be able to go down there and get it from them. Prices are great unless you're late at the library. City Council, let's extend some more hours and days in the library. Where are the skinny female superheroes? I don't see any skinny. I read a lot of, I love comic books. I read a comic book almost every day at lunch while I have sound sure and work. It's a great way to get brain dead. But I've noticed there are no skinny female superheroes. I mean, you got these real voluptuous and muscular women. I mean, just something straight out of like Renaissance. Anyway, Renaissance period, the Picasso did. But you don't see this skinny. I'm like, why don't we have a anorexic, superhero woman, and she could just say, right before she goes out to do battle, she could just go out and eat all this food and just gorge herself, and then she could just have volumes of vomit coming out and hitting the evil people, which, oh, that's terrible. We'll probably get some hate mail from the anorexic women now.
Well, that would be bulimia.
But, bulimia, bulimia, well, the bulimia super women, too. Anorexia, where you have this, that's right, because the anorexic ones have the teeth issues. Anyway, maybe I'll get some email out of that. You think so? It's about time we got some email. We haven't had any kind of email from anybody. Did you know Obama's trying to steal our idea? Have you noticed that lately? He's talking about these trains going across. He wants to improve the trains. We've been talking about this now for 4 or 5 years, about the trains going across this country to help basically reduce pollution, reduce use of gas, get people in trains, and we could put them right down the middle of the interstates. Well, now I'll score. It's an idea. We know Obama is now watching our show. And we know that for a fact because he basically stole that idea for watching it from when George Bush was invited to come down here. So we know the Secret Service has already told him all about it, and that we're going to be talking about him and blaming him for everything, just like we blame George. Speaking of which, do you know the Democrats are now blaming Bush for Obama? They'll blame Bush for everything. You even got Democrats now wanting to impeach Obama, you know, for what he's doing here because he's into this Middle East battle going on now. They all hate him for that. And he's not quite as Woodsy the Owl loving. And now he's also talking about might want to do some drilling for oil in the United States. I tell you what, the Republicans are like, hey, you know, this guy's not so bad. I heard that basically Steven Spielberg and Michael Moore are planning a movie that basically looks at this conspiracy that somewhere right around the inauguration that a clone of George Bush was created, a black clone, and substituted for Obama. So this is really a George Bush clone with dark skin in the White House, and it's not really the Obama we knew that come out of Chicago area, whatever. Isn't that what it was when he was in Chicago? Yeah. Anyway, George Bush, you see, now that's why they're blaming him. See, he's back alive. You see, there might have been Ronald Reagan because he's pretty tall too. So maybe Obama's the Ronald Reagan clone. Anyway, so this guy's trying to get him impeached, and this is a guy that sued the Congressional Grill for $100,000 because he ate a bad olive pit, and he says it's their fault that he had an olive pit in his food. Dennis Kucinich, yeah. So, anyway, these are the nuts that we got up in Washington. Well, it sounds like I'm getting on my soapbox. I think I'll just go ahead and just do that. Speaking of meanness going on, what I want to talk to you tonight about is what I call bullies and fear. Having grown up actually as an obese child, now I'm sort of back there again. I had that period of about 15 years where I had more hair and less weight, and now I've got, as you can see, the opposite has occurred. But I was caught a lot of grief real young about my weight. And then as the weight come off, interestingly enough, went into the racial issues in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. Got a lot of grief for being white. So I've dealt with a lot of being the victim of bullies in my life. Recently, we're airing something like this sometime in May. Sometime in March, basically, the news media started putting on this film clip that showed this young teenager and a much larger young teenager. And basically, there's a confrontation. The young teacher was punching the bigger one about 5 times. Obviously, the aggressor. The big one just reaches down, picks him up, and body slams him, just like something you might see on one of these wrestling shows. I mean, just slams the kid. And what I noticed when I was watching it is as his leg hits a flower box that's made of brick, hence an injury, because his leg hits it. If he just slammed it down straight on the floor, it'd probably been nothing. But then the smaller kid gets up, and he's limping around this and that. Everybody's like, oh, they shouldn't have slammed him like that. And I said, hey, he punched him 5 times before he reacted. 5 times. I think he's actually did pretty good. Personally, as big as this kid was, he could have body slammed him on the first one. The smaller kid was the bully, punching him in the stomach. But the media wants to say, was he justified? Let me ask you, how many times would you take being punched before you would do something? I'm tired of this media. They saw this little boy sort of whining a little bit because, oh, he got his leg hurt. Oh, but it was okay that he punched the other one 5 times. This is the problems we have in our society. This is some of the mess that we have going on in our school system. This actually occurred at a school, and I'm not sure if they filmed it on a secret camera or as a telephone or what. Bullies need to be taken care of. And I hear this, oh, we just need to love them, and we just need to hug them, and we just need to talk to them. Well, you know, sometimes they just need to have their rear end just stomped. You know, that's just the way it is. I had a guy once threaten me. He actually jumped over a fence in my yard, and we ended up in a fight. I was embarrassed, actually, I almost say that for a long time. This guy wanted to do some physical damage to me. Fortunately, I was able to defend myself some. Ended up breaking up, and he still wanted to smart off about what he was going to do, and I made a nice threatening comment about how things would end for him if he continued what he was doing. End of argument. A month and a half, 2 months later, I had a truck that got stuck in some mud in my backyard. He comes driving up in the yard in his truck. I'm like, oh, great, here we go, another fight. What's this crazy wanting to do now? Gets out of the chain, yells over, I happen to be outside, come outside to see what he's doing. He says, thought to see if you want me to pull you out. You know, sometimes you have to stand up to bullies, just hugging and whining, and namby-pamby kind of stuff. Doesn't always work. That's why we got Middle East problems. We got some wicked people over there killing people. It's probably the right thing to do. Stop some of the bullies, and that's the way I feel. And with that, if we can wake the band up, get them ready for some music. I think they're over there having some fun. Maybe they were truly engaged with the soap and the whole monologue issue. We got a special for you tonight. We got a band, Opposite Life. Arrie and Holland's here, and I'm glad you're here. And with them is going to be our guest tonight, to talk some later, GeneCostner, and he's going to join them, and we're going to hear some great tunes from Opposite Life with their guest, GeneCostner.
Well, it's a moonshine sunrise. Once the sun goes down, there's some moonshine. He's my boy.
All right. Excellent. Music of Opposite Life. I've been up with Modern Renaissance Man. Gene, come over and have a seat. And we're going to chat some here. Oh, we got you coming over on the host cam. Hey, Gene. Sorry. Here's Holland. They're over there. We got him in the background. We claim to have invented it. If anybody else says they did, like Obama. Or, oh, here's another one who stole some stuff from us. Looked like the other night we were watching. There's the camera people. They hate me. Anyway, when I do this. There's Holland, there's Arrie, and there's Gene, and we'll cut it off. That's enough for now. Anyway, Colbert Report. I noticed he's listing stuff on his opening now, like I list stuff on the opening of my show. This is some of the things I've done. I mean, he had one like good swimmer, and I don't think that quite matches up to deliver babies, but you know, I mean, for whatever he gets to do. He does have the money to say, tour Mineral East with a shaved head with a bunch of soldiers, you know, and it's paid for.
Never paid for it.
And they paid for it.
No.
Somebody paid for it.
Well.
You know, anyway. GeneCostner, glad you're here. You're obviously been in music for a while. Where are you from, birthright? I mean, where's that stuff? Where are you from?
Actually, I'm one of the few people you'll meet who's been born in Charlotte.
There's two of us.
We're getting like Atlanta now.
There's
you know?
actually two of us now. Excellent. And I think I was born a few years before you. But you've been in music a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, how long a long time?
Well, let's see, I was 14
Ooh,
when I started
wow.
playing professionally.
Okay.
So it's been 40 years.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Ow.
That sounds pretty good. 40 years. Yeah, I like to have said that too. And you played with numerous. I heard you mention something a while ago that sort of caught my. I pay attention when people are talking sometimes, and they don't know I'm listening. So watch out for that. I still listen in on it. Anyway, but you did something with Jimmy Buffett. What was that?
Oh, yeah. I've toured with about every Southern rock band you can name.
Well, name some. Let's name drop.
Well, first band I ever worked with James Gang.
Oh, wow.
Right after they lost Joe Walsh, of
Mm-hmm.
course. Then worked with a bunch of the kind of B bands, Montrose, Ambrosia, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then came back out and got up with the Hughes Corporation.
Now, how much were you playing? How much were you?
I was doing a lot of sound, lights,
Mm-hmm.
driving trucks, singing backups. I would actually run sound and sing and play percussion and keyboards and stuff from back to the soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
Got up with a band called the Hughes Corporation. Remember Rock the Boat?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My claim to fame, I
That's
actually made some money off of that song.
Oh, wow.
I brought disco in! Oh! But
That's pretty good. The only song I ever did didn't even make it out in the air. It got deleted.
So was it you that figured out 126 beats a minute? Just wondering.
no, Granddad always said, if you want to make a hit song, make a song that sounds like a hit, or use a catchphrase everybody knows. Rock the boat. You know.
It did. It was on.
And
It
worked.
They run it on the top 40 a lot.
I love oldies
A whole
weekends.
lot. So tell me, now you're playing with somebody now pretty regularly,
Oh yeah, I've got my own
Who's
band
this?
called Gene and the Blues Machine.
and you do what type of blues?
We do a little bit of old to new. We've got some originals that we're doing. We really like Stevie
I mean,
Ray
do
Vaughan.
you do blues like Cab Calloway kind of blues, or do you?
We do Caledonia, which is not quite there. It's we do Albert King, Freddie
Because
King.
probably most people that are non-musicians think Blues Brothers is about the height of.
Yeah, I
about
find a lot of
blues.
people have a misconception about blues these days. They think a bunch of old guys sitting around going,
Yeah.
and we're high energy. We are more kind of like the Blues Brothers as far as we're a show. We
What
do
about
like
funky stuff like Papa John Creek?
yeah, I love Papa John, pre Starship. But yeah, like I say, we mix it up. We'll do anything from the old stuff to new Tabanor and Joe Bonamassa. And,
A lot of people, I have no clue who these people you're
these
really,
are Coco Montoya.
I know, I have a little blues background.
Find
not
the new
much.
blues guys. They're taking it to a new level, and that's what we're trying to do.
So how big is this group that you're in?
We're normally 5-piece. We can be 6-piece if the place is big enough and they can fit the keyboard player.
You jumped in nicely with.
Oh, that was fun. I heard them out
All
front. They
right,
sounded so good together.
Well, he mentioned to me, I asked him because he said about playing harmonica, and he's like, well, I really don't think I want to do a solo, but if the band is willing, he could jump in. And when I heard they all actually all had paired up,
Hey,
I think, well, that
I'll
should be
jump
pretty
in
good.
with
We're always
anybody
willing.
sounds good. And a few that don't.
Anyway, so Gene
Gene and the Blues Machine.
Okay, from that. One of the things that we got into the other night, and Gene printed some material on, is that our local government, of course, tries to mess with anything that's fun, pretty much, and make Charlotte the terrible place that it is. You know, like closing libraries and creating bicycle lanes. So a bunch of old men in their underwear can ride up and downtown instead of their children going to the library. Is this thing about the sound ordinance? That's what, what was this? Was there something about 400 feet, or what was it? Unless you were a mega
out.
company and then you got away with it or something?
Well, they started out, they said that within 400 feet, you could not hear any music. If you had a band out on your restaurant deck, amplified or unamplified, at 400 feet, were not allowed to be able to hear them. They would shut it down. Now, we went to the meeting on Monday, and they dropped that before they ever got the meeting going. So at least we hit that. The next thing is they are exempting the uptown, area.
Whichever, yeah.
Which I think is highly unfair, which means somebody there with money is getting it to go downtown.
Well, they had to do that because of the different social things they do, like speed streets and stuff like that. I mean, of course, they had to come
But
in
they
and
should
allow
still
for
have to
that.
buy a permit, just like any other restaurant or bar in town.
That's true.
It should cost them more. They should regulate the hours. And there were some very good points. There was an older gentleman who was came back from the war and said, I have a right to have peace and quiet. I fought for it. And he does have a right.
does.
But he lives right between Philosopher's Stone and Jack Lopes or something on the other side, and so he's getting bombarded all night long with music. Well, you can understand his point. It's not like he just moved there. He lived there 47 years. We have to please him too. But there was a city council person that they made mad. And she's, well, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to shut you down. And that's where I understand this whole thing started. As that she got in there and started trying to push this thing, and it almost went through. And there's
Which
an
city council? Do you
organization
happen to
called, I'm not sure exactly who it was.
'Cause we like to name names
Oh,
here. so
absolutely.
if anybody knows, if you know who it was, send us a note. So we,
But they
That's the main
started, some local musicians, business bar owners, people affiliated with the business started a thing called Save Charlotte Music. It's on Facebook. Cool T-shirt. On the back it says, music is not a crime. Definitely check them out. They're doing a thing at Jack Lopes on Sunday.
Really loud, right?
There was another lady who was complaining about a church who built 50 feet out her back.
you know, I tell you what, I drive downtown sometimes. I listen to the cars up beside me that's got this. You know, I bet I can go 400 feet and catch up some of that.
You know, they're
So
talking.
we're going to get the sound police out there in the cars. It's going to start busting some of these jam systems and some of these, especially some of the mega SUVs. I've heard some. That,
Oh, sure.
well, I've heard some little cars that just bounced up and down. So.
But the thing was, they were saying 50 dB at the property line. Well, you know, you and I talking right here are about 55 to 65 dB. So at the property line?
Well, you know, I understand that particularly with stuff that if I find interesting, if this guy, or whoever this person was, they lived there for 40-something years and got a couple bars or places that opened up beside him, that actually was the city council's fault.
Zoning.
That zoning should have stopped it from happening with the residents beside it. But of course, since they didn't do that now, that's like the people who move into a neighborhood that has a small airport and they want the airport closed down. Why did you move there?
There were two people
No.
living in NODA, music section. Everybody knows, art, music, NODA. Well, we hated this loud, blah, blah. Well, why did you move there? How long have you lived there? Oh, well, less than a year. Well, did you not do your homework and find out that that's what we do in this area?
Well, we're going to pick up some more. We're running out of time here, Gene, unfortunately. It's been great having you here. And, but Gene's going to be back with us on the next show, and so is Opposite Life. I'm Ben Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man, and as we go out to ours, I want to thank the crew, the camera people. Without them, this show would not happen. Dean on audio. Thanks, Dean. A lot of good work tonight. Dano, my director, always good work. Jennifer manages the green room. Kate Copeland, who basically does everything from Roman host cam to help co-host the blurb shows. Remember, merriment is a necessity. Alcohol is a drug. Go out and enjoy some life. Watch out for those manic mothers, and look for us on the website. I'm Ben Copeland, my Renaissance Man. Gene, glad you're here. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
I love you 3 times, cheese, and you know I'm hard to please, but you make me weak in my knees. Baby, I think you're my disease, but your loving's all I need to cure what ails me, to cure what ails me. You're 3 times cheese. That's right. Well, you talk so much faster than I think, but at least you know when I'm not listening anymore. And I make you crazy, just like I told you I would. At least I warned you, at least I warned you. You seem to know just what I'm thinking. Every time I wanna kiss you, lay it on me. You lay it on me like a first time when your lips met mine. And I opened up my eyes to find you smiling with your whole face. I wanna go to your place, and I hope your kitty don't pee on the bed. I love you 3 times, cheese, and you know I'm hard pleased. You make me weak, and I need, baby, I think you're my disease. But your love is all I need to cure what ails me, to cure what ails me. You're 3 times. You be the cheese dip and I'll be the chip. That's right, baby. You be the cheese dip and I'll be the chip. And I ain't talking about that crab. I'm talking about brie or Havarti or blue cheese. Oh yeah. Okay, so you be the cheese dip and I'll be the chip. And if you like to double dip, we got more in the kitchen. Cause you know it's finger licking like a bowl of dank. Ain't no sense in wishing when you all you need. And even though my love is free, you gotta pay for the cheese at the store down the street. You know they got it at the T. Gorgonzola, Parmesan, Provolone, Feta, Swiss, Munster, Havarti, Brie, Cheddar. You can slap it on a biscuit, melt it on a Triscuit. You know I know how to fix it, boy. I make that delicious. I'm gonna spread it on you. 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 Know I'm gonna work you out like Jane Fondue. I put my hand up on your chip, and when I dip, you dip too. Gay, so gay, so you know we got the cheese with the herbs. The kind of tasty cheese to make you wanna swerve. Hey, so hey, so I love you 3 times, cheese, and you know I'm hard to please. You make me weak in my knees, baby. I think you're my disease, but your loving's all I need to cure what ails me, to cure what ails me. You're 3 times, cheese. You're 3 times, cheese. You're 3 times, cheese.
Hey, get on me.
That's all right. Go ahead. Pick it back up. Put it on one of us. You can leave it on her and I'll talk.
No.
Yeah, I can still
Get
do
it
this.
on him.
Okay.
Look at camera 3. Turn that monitor.
She doesn't want to do the opening on her, Dan.
Get it on
Switch
him.
it off. Ready? I'll tell you what, give that key grip a raise, buddy. Get my water over here. Y'all don't have to be that quiet. You don't have to. I know, it's TV shock. Okay. Ready?
Sure.
Ready?